Now, the truth is that the sight of you makes me sick.
Why would you do that to Nick?
Dad, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. I didn't. None of this makes any sense. Like, I feel like there was something in my drink or something.
Wait, something in your drink?
Before the day was over, Natalie was packed off and sent out of the country.
You know, maybe if you toned down on the femme raging, you'd find yourself a man.
Leave my mommy alone!
Ow! You little...
Claire, what are you doing here?
Just, I'm, here to get my wife. She's had a little too much to drink is all. I'll take her home.
Thank you for helping us back there.
Of course. Let me, drive you home.
After the heated exchange, Natalie did not have any contact with her family for almost a week. Then, in the blink of an eye, the day of the engagement party arrived. Tom stood at the door of the party hall to greet the guests. Seeing that it was nearly time, he called Nick over to talk to him. Sheryl and her mother have suffered a lot in the past. He sighed and said earnestly, "Now that you two are engaged, you mustn't disappoint me. If you treat her badly, I won't let you off easily." Nick nodded his head seriously. "Don't worry, I'll take good care of her and never upset her, not in the slightest." While the two of them were talking, Sheryl finished dressing and walked leisurely down the stairs. Her appearance caused quite a stir. All the guests nodded their heads in praise of her beauty. Sheryl was overjoyed, and she walked up to Nick and hooked her arm through his. Tom watched the two of them and sighed with emotion. "I'm handing my precious daughter over to you. You must look after her for me." Nick stretched out his hand and took hold of Sheryl's. "I will live up to your expectations." Just then, someone raised their voice. "Don't you have another daughter, Tom? How come I haven't seen her for a while? If I remember correctly, this man was her fiancé once, right?" The words were like a bomb. The entire hall erupted into commotion. He was looking around the hall in annoyance when he saw Natalie walk in with Liam. Tom's expression turned cold. He walked up to Natalie and lowered his voice, trying his best to control his voice. "What's wrong with you? Didn't I say that you couldn't bring the child?" He pointed towards the door, his expression furious, and he didn't hold back his emotions. "Get someone to take him away or I'll kick him out." Tom's dismissive attitude to Liam was like a needle that pierced Natalie's heart. "Why did you make me travel all the way here? You knew it would make you unhappy. Don't worry, I'll leave with him right now." Seeing that she was about to leave, Sheryl became anxious. "Natalie, don't leave. Daddy was just being impulsive." With one hand holding on to Tom and the other holding her fiancé, she tilted her head and smiled. "Don't be angry. Today is my engagement party. I really want your blessing." Natalie saw all this and ignored her. She turned to look at her father, who was still upset. "What? Do you want me to stay?" "Go and stand to the side. Don't wander around in front of us." She wasn't in the mood to argue with him, so she took Liam's hand and found a corner to sit down in.
"Mommy, are you okay?"
Without waiting for her to speak, he ran to a waiter and asked for a cup of water in a childish voice. He agreed and returned with a cup of water. After drinking half of it, Natalie felt slightly better. And when she looked up, she saw Tom and an older man walking towards her. Tom came closer and introduced the man beside him. "Mr. Walker, this is my eldest daughter, Natalie." "Mr. Davidson, you are so lucky. Both of your daughters are beautiful. I'm envious." Natalie looked at her father's expression, which was now as calm as a spring breeze, and got a bad feeling in her stomach. She could tell that he was up to no good. "Now that my youngest has found happiness, it's time to worry about her sister's future." He turned and nodded to Natalie. "Natalie, talk to Mr. Walker, please." His fatherly expression made her feel nauseous. She finally understood why he had made her come back. Just then, a tall, powerful figure stepped into the hall and quickly became the focus of everyone's attention. But Natalie was still immersed in her own world and did not notice. "Sorry, I don't think I have anything to talk about with Mr. Walker. I came to the party just like I said I would. If there's nothing else, then I'll be leaving. As she spoke, she put down the cup in her hand and got up to leave. Natalie, don't be angry. Daddy did this for your own good. All these years, he's been worrying about your future. Mr. Walker is the head of the Walker Group, and he is also a real estate tycoon. If you stay with him, you'll definitely live a life of luxury and ease. You make him sound like a catch. Why don't you marry him? What are you saying? I already have Nick. How could I marry anyone else? Natalie, how can you say that? Her stepmother, Rosemary, had come over and was frowning as well. Sheryl respects you so much, and you speak to her like this. Respect? You use words like that to deceive ignorant people, not me. Don't expect me to play along with it. Don't insult me. Mr. Walker, you don't know the whole story. Although I am the eldest daughter of this family, I've been exiled abroad for 5 years. I also have a child, and everyone in Seattle knows about it. If you marry me, you'll only be insulting yourself. Mr. Davidson, you didn't tell me she had a child. How could I possibly lie to you, Mr. Walker? Tom was so anxious that he wanted to explain, but the truth had already come out. Just as his scalp started to burn from worry, he suddenly heard a cold sneer behind him. When did the woman I've got my eye on become reduced to this? Everyone turned their attention to the person who had spoken. They saw a man walking over with steady steps. There was a playful smile on his face, and his eyes stared at Natalie like she was his prey.
Hi, I am Natalie. Want to know my story? Then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of The Return Now.